what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2000 Volvo S80 T6. Up front is a twin-turbo 2.8 liter inline 6 and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this S80 T6 for two reasons. First of all, always love featuring Volvos here on the channel. I don't get to do it as much as maybe some other brands, so it's nice to have a little bit of a change up. But the second reason is the fact that this is a performance car in Swedish packaging. It has that twin turbo inline 6 under the hood. It might as well be a Skyline R34. Maybe not. But I'm excited to share all of this car's awesome features with you here today. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that 2.8 liter straight 6 with the twin turbos under the hood. Well, right off the bat, torque steer. Torque steer, torque steer, torque steer, which is harder to say 3 times in a row than I thought. This wanted to turn any direction I would have let it, which is interesting because I normally don't associate that with 6-cylinder cars, but I also don't drive as many 6-cylinder front-wheel drive cars, which is a front-wheel drive quirk. It makes 268 horsepower, which is really fantastic, and offers that nice gradual power. It doesn't punch you in the chest or kick you in the gonads. It actually eases you into that power, which is something more classy, I guess. The BMWs and Mercedes of the era, non-AMG Mercedes, they did this really well where they sort of eased you into that power, and so you could handle it where normal people might not be able to. So that's definitely nice to see here in this generation of S80. Now, they did offer a 2.8 liter NA. They also offered a 2.9 liter just to make things confusing, and later a 2.9 liter twin turbo. So it's very difficult to understand, but it does say twin charged, which it's not. It's twin turbo. That means twin turbo. Later Volvos were twin charged, which twin charge means supercharger and turbocharger. This is not twin charged, but it says twin charged, which means twin turbo. Does everyone have their notes straight? All right, moving on to the transmission. This automatic transmission is an GM transmission, even though they were owned by Ford. Again, try to keep it straight. And the GM transmissions were not very good, but you could find S80s in manual at the time. Last but not least, it's front-wheel drive. Straightforward with that. Thank God there's no asterisks about it. How does it feel to drive the S80? Well, it is very interesting because it dips a toe in both worlds. It is sporty and fun because of that twin-turbo inline 6. I don't think I've ever had a bad time with an inline 6 turbo. Or really an inline 6, to be fair, but more specifically turbo. But then again, this is really more towards a luxury car. These leather seats in here I'm absolutely sinking into, which we'll talk about in a second with the interior. The steering is a lot lighter than other Volvos, which always sort of gives me a cruiser luxury mentality rather than sporty. Visibility is okay. The exterior is nonchalant at all, and so altogether it drives like a luxury car that does have a little bit of extra punch in its pocket. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my coolant temperature, in the center is my speedometer and tachometer, and off to the right is my fuel. On the steering wheel we do get cruise control buttons as well as skip track and volume right smack on the face, and off to the left we have our climate control, headlight switch, gauge dimmer switch, and front and rear fog lights. Moving on to the door, we get a little speaker, latch to get in and out, power mirrors, power windows, and power locks. And moving into the center, we do get a speaker up on the dash, which Volvo did a good job of integrating this, where if you take a look at this 1998 C70 I just drove, they did less of a good job. Climate control vents and hazard switch down below that, and our radio. We do get a CD player as well as a cassette player here in the S80. Volume, fader, balance source, all of the goodies found there, with this really awkwardly tall cubby off to the left that I can't even reach my fingers all the way into. It seems nearly bottomless. very, very odd choice by Volvo. But down below, we have our climate control options. So we do get dual zone climate, which is really great to see, as well as we get our heated seats. AC fan speed, I love the little lights with the fan speed. Then we have our headrest drop and valet mode, as well as DSTC buttons down below and a 12-volt outlet. All of this is kind of smashed together in the interior. I don't love it aesthetically, but I love all of the functionality. Then we do have the shifter. You can plus minus on the shifter if you would like to do that, but I don't. And we get a pop-out cup holder. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test, but if you have the gift of sight, you would know that it fails quite immediately. But then we get another cup holder that also is gimmicky and also fails. Then we get a center console. No cup holders in there, don't worry, but it does help out as an armrest. And speaking of comfort, let's talk about the seats. The seats are one of the best parts of this car because of how well you just sink into them. It is comfortable, and this is what really pushes that luxury mentality. Besides the lighter steering, these comfy seats are something to swoon over, and I am swooning here today. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2000 Volvo S80 T6, and a couple of things to note. First of all, my knees are touching the seat in front of me, but it's not terrible. If I spread them a little bit, it's not bad. Headroom is good. Not even coming close to it, which is very nice to see. I also do get a 12-volt outlet down below. I get a cushy center console with cup holders in the middle. But other than that, no real crazy amenities back here in the S80. Again, if you moved up to the S90 later on, that was like really, truly luxury. You do get sunshades, which is very nice to see. But other than that, nothing too crazy. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. So we're on the back of the S80. We have little buttons down there to open it up, and here we are in the trunk of the S80. Nothing really too crazy, although you do get a really nice switch here to release the back seats to then open it up. You can open up a passageway into the back seats for carrying larger items, but other than that, nothing really too crazy. We get whatever the heck that thing is, more releases for the back seats and things like that. So that is the trunk space of the S80. I have to say, pretty decent amount. It does go back pretty far even before you release those back seats. So that's a double thumbs up for the trunk space of the S80. Now we got to talk about the looks. And first of all, I love the light blue color. I think it looks really nice and was sort of characteristic of Volvos of this era. Whenever I see this light blue color, I kind of associate that. But I also love how nonchalant this car is. This car, power-wise, could keep up with a lot of BMW 5 Series and definitely 3 Series of the era. Minus, of course, maybe the 540, which I adore that car deeply. But I think it would struggle to keep up with the V8 of that car. But still, it kind of has that sleeper look to it where no one is going to know that you're packing a twin-turbo inline-6 under the hood. That's pretty cool, and that's a big up for the exterior. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this Volvo S80 T6 from the year 2000? Well, I've enjoyed my experience with it. First of all, I find it incredibly unique that it is a front-wheel drive twin-turbo inline-6. Those words don't normally all go together, but for this instance, they do. And that's cool. I also really like the subtlety of this car. I like the fact that I walked up to it thinking, oh, this is just another Volvo, whatever, not that special, but it is. It is special. And I think the biggest thing is that Ford acquired Volvo in January of 1999. So right before this car was made. And it's nice to see that at least for a little bit, for a period in time, Volvo still got to keep their interesting Swedish identity. This isn't a Ford engine under the hood. I don't feel or see many parts bin Ford parts in here, besides the little diagram of the person on the climate controls, which I think Ford stole from Volvo and not vice versa, but I'm not totally sure of this little man's lineage. I'll have to get an Ancestry.com account after this video. My point being is that Ford did come in, and throughout the 2000s, yes, they added the XC90, and yes, they added a lot of great products, but it also lost a little bit of its character, and it downgraded quite a bit of its personality and quality. Well, this car is still grasping onto that barely. This car is still unique. It's still a weird Swedish turbocharged sedan, which is awesome. The light hasn't fully left its eyes yet. And as much as it is nice to see, it's twice as nice to experience. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Jackson for letting me take out his Volvo S80 T6. This was such an interesting video. Jackson has been wonderful to work with. We filmed 2 other of his Volvos this morning, so I have had Volvo on the brain, and that is all thank you to Jackson. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.